Huge crowds gathered this morning.
More than 50,000 runners.
For 42,000 people.
As we get close to Marathon Sunday.
I've registered for the marathon.
My legs are hurting so much.
I'm now kind of panicking.
I can't move my legs.
Okay, so apart from the fact that running a marathon has been a childhood dream of mine for multiple reasons, I mean, it's f***ing cool to do and it's been an item on my bucket list for as long as I can remember. This quest or journey, whatever you call it, this journey actually started way earlier than the point of me deciding to actually chase that childhood dream. This started right around the time when I knew I wanted to do something on YouTube and was trying to find inspiration and ideas for my first video. I'm in the forest. I know it's weird, but it's cool aesthetics. Anyway, in that period of time, I often found myself in the gym, trying to become the next C-Bomb, which totally worked out, as you can see. And adding to that, my cardio was also whack as f***. And perhaps I had a little bit too much of the gold brown drink, giving me a belly. So, taking all those things into account, I decided, hey, you know what? Those issues can actually fuel my first video. So, I had the idea to run 5 kilometers every day for 30 days. In that way, improving my cardio and getting shredded and abs for the oncoming summer. And that does sound like the American dream, right? Well, I forgot to tell you guys one tiny little detail. And that was that I hadn't ran in months. And I maybe also smoked, but don't tell my mom. But nevertheless, I totally smashed the challenge. Uploaded the video on YouTube, got 10 million views in the very first few days, packed my bags and moved to LA, where I then married Margot Robbie and we got ourselves 2 kids, 2 boys actually, named Junior and the Snare Junior. And we lived happily ever after. And that's the end of the video. Okay, big surprise. That didn't happen. What happened instead was that I did the first 2 days in, I imagine, a horrible fashion.
So today is the first day. I'm kind of hyped, but I haven't run in such a long time and I smoked. So that's not good too. So we'll see. Okay, so I'm halfway. It's going not that great. I think I will regret this. 30 days. It's gonna be tough, man. The status update, but it's day 2. And my, I don't know how you call it in English, but they hurt so much.
And when I got to day 3, I started experiencing this agonizing pain at the bottom of my feet. And it started small, but at the end of it, it just felt like at every step someone was poking a needle at the bottom of my feet. It was awful.
My feet are killing me. Like literally every step hurts. They hurt so much.
And since I was already on a roll making some wise and sound decisions, I decided that I just needed to stop whining, ignore the pain and just push through. Embracing the David Goggins lifestyle, you know? All fun and games till day 5, where the pain got so bad I barely could take one step without biting the bottom of my lip out of pure pain. So I went to the doctor and came to know I pretty much ruined my feet. He gave me some sporting soles for in my shoes and he urged me to immediately stop with the challenge. So first video idea and execution was like everything else in my life, a great success. And even though I did all those stupid exercises the doc tells you to do, my useless feet just kept hurting and I wasn't able to run for the next 8 to 10 months. And although running's never been my go-to sport, just because I wasn't able to run, I actually started craving running. And I mean, 21 years old and not being able to run is just, let's be honest, f***ing pathetic. And so the longer my feet were injured, the more I started dreaming of running again. But the first video failure didn't stop me from uploading another banger of a
video with millions of views. And meanwhile, with months passing by, my feet slowly started feeling better. And I felt like I might be able to run again. But this time I was not going to f it up. I just wanted to run 5 kilometers without having pain. Nothing more, nothing less. And that originally was the end goal, which I achieved very, 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 very slowly. And then suddenly a message popped up on my screen with the invitation to run a 15 kilometers run in December. And it being the end of July 2022, I thought that this would be the perfect challenge and incentive to very slowly build up my feet again, which still gave me some aches from time to time. And this whole thing happened at the same time I decided to let go of becoming the next C-bomb. I missed the rivalry with other people and I wanted to do a sport where I could compete again. And in addition to that, I've always had a dream of doing a legit boxing match. But if there's one thing I know, it's that you cannot half-ass boxing. Because I'm not going to get my ass beat, okay? So I did some math and I figured out that since I'm switching from fitness to fight sport, now would be the ideal time to take on a marathon. Not only would running a marathon help me get leaner and improve my conditioning, which is both crucial for fighting, but it would also allow me to check off that marathon bucket list item that I've had since I've walked this earth. So on the 8th of November in 2022, I officially decided to register for the marathon. An ambitious move that even surprised myself a little bit the next day, because at this point the furthest I'd ran was 10 kilometers, which I'd only done twice. And this was due to the fact that training for the 15 kilometers run in December didn't went smooth. I think it's safe to say it went fucking horrible. Oh, it's August, baby. August, let's go. And as you can see, I was super excited for the new challenge, being the 15 kilometers run. And with that overflowing excitement, I did my classic mistake. And I went way too fast, way too soon. Ignoring the fact that I hadn't run in a whole year. And it didn't help that 4 years prior to this, I did the exact same 15 kilometers run. But these were different times. I smoked less, ran more, and I never had any injury. So I was in great condition and often ran a kilometer under 5 minutes. And in my mind, I couldn't allow myself to run slower than that period, because if I did, that would mean my physical condition actually got worse over the last 2 years. And that's just something I find really difficult to accept. And I don't know why, but training in general just didn't went well. I don't know where I am, but we're fucking dying. But I have okay, I'm gonna stop talking. I feel my shit already coming up. But nevertheless, I just went for it and I tried running these times of 4 years prior. But I think in the first 2 weeks, immediately my shins started burning. And I didn't think much of it at first, but when the pain persisted every time I'd run, I didn't want to make the same mistake as 2 years prior. See, I'm learning, I'm evolving. So I went to a physician who told me I was just running too fast and too much. And I needed to implement a strategy which I'm particularly bad at: training less and slowing down. And this was just so frustrating because in my mind I wanted to be fast. I wanted to be Sonic the Hedgehog, but my body just couldn't keep up with it. Well, I only have 1 week left until the 15 kilometers run. Since I've been to the doctor, I haven't run any farther than 4 kilometers. So today I'm going to try to run 5 kilometers. And I'm just praying that if I do it really slow pace, my shins will not hurt. So the moment of truth had arrived. I would decide whether to proceed with the 15 kilometers run based on how my shins were feeling. If they felt fine, I would go for it. But if the pain persisted... Trust me, I really don't want to. But then it's better to cancel the 15 kilometers run, take more rest and crush the marathon. Look how slow I'm running. If my shins cannot handle this, I'll just amputate my legs. So I did the run and still couldn't make up my mind on what was a wise decision. So 4 days before the run, I decided to do a 10 kilometers run as the ultimate test. I don't know how to feel, man. My right shin doesn't feel really bad, but it also doesn't feel great, so... It's the day. I just decided I want to do this. Really slow paced, but I need to check this off. I don't know why. Probably it's going to be a battle and I'm nervous and I don't know if I'm making the right choice. Look, this is my starting sign.
We're doing the run, 15 kilometers. Haven't run it in 4 years. Pretty nervous, but yeah. And as I set off for the race, I couldn't help but feel a mixture of excitement, but also uncertainty. It had been 4 years since I last attempted a 15 kilometers run, so only completing it would be a very big personal achievement. So that was the plan. Just make it to the finish, think about your shins and the marathon that is coming in 4 months. We're off. Let's go. Slow and steady is the tactic. Slow and steady. But as the race proceeded, the atmosphere, the supporters, the crowd, it just gets you hyped up. And I had a sort of secret aspiration. The under 5 minutes per kilometer of 4 years ago was impossible. However, what if I can do the run in a pace of under 6 minutes per kilometer, making my total run time a maximum of 1 hour and 30 minutes? Well, those dreams got wiped off the table pretty quickly, because it started to get really tough. I need to pick it up right now, but slowly they're starting some aches in my left leg and my right shin, so it's getting tougher, man. This definitely was not supposed to happen, because the game plan from the start was start slow and then at the end just put it all out there on the field. Not suffering and being out of breath at only 7 kilometers. And around 10 kilometers I started to realize I was not on schedule to get a time under 1.5 hours. And it just hit me. Me, a 23-year-old guy who would not be able to run 15 kilometers under 1.5 hours, while there's still people at 60 years old who get the job done. I just got so angry at myself. Like, honestly, I couldn't believe how pathetic that would be. So I just started shit-talking myself. Need to slowly pick up the pace. I have more in me, I know it. Come on. Now we push. We f***ing push. And it maybe sounds cruel, but it got the job done. Adrenaline kicked in, pain in both legs faded, and I was going all out on the right side, passing a lot of people while I kept talking to myself. Nevertheless, my last 5 kilometers ended up being my fastest by far. So one obvious question remained. Was it actually enough? And just crossing the finish line felt so amazing. But at this point, there was only one thing on my mind. Yes, let's go. Under 1.5 hours. I'm gonna take a breather. I did it! Woohoo! Look at my medal. Woohoo! Finished the race. Okay time. I mean, I don't think it's fast. I'm not really proud of it, but it's under the 1 hour and 30 minutes, so I can at least look at myself in the mirror. One thing I take from this is that the marathon, like 42 kilometers, is f***ing far. Like 15 was an hour and a half, and it was far, and I have to do this like 2.5 times. Definitely going to give my legs some rest before I start training again. They definitely don't feel great. Definitely felt better, a lot better, but I think it also could be worse. I mean, I'm still standing here, I'm walking. I'm just gonna give my legs time to recover, and when I can, I'll be back up training. Feeling the pressure of time ticking away, I wanted to get back into training as fast as possible and push hard. However, every time I tried to increase the pace, like during interval training or sprinting, my shins would ache terribly in the days that followed. My shins do not feel good for real. Oh man. So frustrated, I reverted back to my old method of slow and steady to even keep a slight chance of me completing the marathon. I just did the 12.5 kilometers. We'll see how my shins feel tomorrow, but
my shins, man.
Okay, so I followed a schedule that many runners use, incorporating short runs to build a solid foundation, interval runs to improve your conditioning, and long runs to enhance endurance and stamina. The recommended minimum distance to run for a marathon in preparation is at least 30 kilometers. It's best to do your longest run no shorter than 2 weeks before the actual marathon, allowing enough time for your muscles to recover. And best case scenario, you'll build up slowly to this distance, because your muscles just need to get used to this absurd amount of miles. I mean, you might be able to run a marathon untrained, but you probably injure yourself and won't be able to walk for the next couple of weeks. And as a marathon wasn't my ultimate end goal, and I had enough of the word injury, I also set the goal to do at least a 30 kilometers run in my preparations. For endurance reasons, but also to mentally check off a legit long distance run. So you can understand that when it hit February and I was still only doing runs in the 10 to 15 kilometers range because of my shins, I started to panic. I don't know how, but I suddenly realized it's already the 4th of February. I'm now kind of panicking and I'm like, am I behind on schedule? I only got like 2 months left and I'm only 1/3 of the way. So in 2 months I have to do like 2/3. I don't know, I have no idea how this is going to work out. Going to do the 14 today, need to make miles, need to not destroy my shins. So I did the run and this was my mood, so things were not great. And in this whole story, I forgot to tell you all one thing, which probably was a huge inspiration for my child's marathon dream and eventually this video. So I'm not the first in my family to try and run the marathon. This absolute stud of a man, my dad, actually ran it 3 times. So when I told the fam about the marathon plans and my goal to run it under 4 hours... Yeah, I forgot to tell you guys that too. But it was my goal and it would mean I'd have to run a little bit faster than 6 minutes per kilometer. My logic was, if I can do 15 in that pace, I should be able to do 42 as well. So when I shared that goal, my dad gave a reasonable comment. That's quite fast for a first marathon with your running background. Pretty reasonable comment, you would say, considering his experience. Well, me in February didn't think so. And I told him it would be a walk in the park, like, watch me. And that's when my dad challenged me and said, I will give you $100 if you finish the run under 4 hours. And of course, a bet should have 2 sides to it. So when I run the marathon in 4 hours, then you have to take me out to dinner. But when I don't do it in 4 hours, I have to take you out for dinner.
Oh, that's great.
Is that the bet?
Yes, that's...
Can we shake on that?
Yes, we shake on that. That's a good bet.
Do you think I can do it in 4 hours? And as my training continued, I finally discovered a pace that spared my shins from any discomfort or pain. But it still didn't make any difference in the time ticking problem I was facing. Pretty nervous, trying to run 20 kilometers. It's the 3rd of March. Time is ticking so fast. I'm nervous. You always think you'll be motivated and happy to run. Well, that's the biggest lie someone's ever told me, because it ain't like that.
I'm only halfway. I'm now at 10 kilometers. I just ran a circle and I have to run that circle again. I'm hurting bad, guys. Me and my legs. Oh, yes. I've done it. 21 kilometers. Oh, my legs feel like absolute. I'm gonna sit down. Spaghetti. But I've run 21 kilometers.
And around this time I realized I would need every little inch that I could get. I needed to get serious about this. Up until this moment I had merely focused on not skipping any runs, having good running shoes and trying not to forget my water on long distance runs. So it was about damn time I got my prep game leveled up. So I finally bought some typical runner's stuff. And long story short, a period came where I did more training and especially more long distance runs. For today, I'm aiming for a bold 25. It's 4 more than 21, which may sound not that much, but I just remember last time and how rough it was and how long it took to walk. But I got 2 little tricks up my sleeve to make it easier. One are the compression socks I ordered, and these. Look at how sexy I am. Gymshark, if you're looking for a new compression socks model, you know who to call. Wish me luck.
Okay, here we go. Oh, I don't like it at all. Yeah, I'm at 19, not even 20. And it's f***ing rough. My legs are hurting so much, it's so hard. 25 kilometers, check. I will now take a nap on the street. This was the worst one I've ever had.
And I can hear you say, dude, you're making some pretty big distance jumps. Didn't you say, in best case scenario, you build up slowly to this distance because your muscles just need to get used to this absurd amount of miles?
Yes, but I felt like I had no choice at all. I really needed to cover that big 30 run.
And I discovered pretty quick that they don't give that advice without reason. So instead of my shins, my right knee now started to hurt pretty bad. Like it hurt even when I was riding a bike. So I had to visit my second home at this point, the physician, once again.
Where the first thing I told him was that there was no chance I was not running this marathon.
So he gave me some exercises to stretch and strengthen my muscles as much as possible. Nothing heavy because I still needed to do the actual marathon. On which he added and insisted that I needed to come back after the race. And the day after my visit, it was time for me to dig deeper than I ever did before. Because it was my final chance to cross off the long anticipated and nerve-wracking Big 30.
So I wasn't going to film, but I'm only at 12 kilometers and my knee is f***ing hurting, man. And I'm so f***ing pissed. Why does it hurt, man? So close.
And in these runs, you're spending a lot of time with just your mind. So you got a lot of time to think. And in this run, knee hurting really bad, marathon only in 14 days, all those early mornings and trainings maybe for nothing, rain pouring, I really hit rock bottom.
At 26 kilometers, we're digging. I'm digging f***ing deep, man. My legs hurt. Everything f***ing hurts. I will get the 30. I will f***ing prove it. That I can run a marathon. That you can do f***ing anything. If you work hard. Even if you don't have talent. Just f***ing push, man. We gotta help each other. Push. F***ing push.
And eventually, after 4 more kilometers, I finally completed the Big 30 run. And it may not look like it, but I was so happy and proud that I checked it off. But those feelings of being proud and happy faded pretty fast. Because in 2 weeks, I had to do the 42. And only 30 kilometers was already an absolute 3.5 hour hell.
So it was straight back to feeling all the nerves.
And in the last 2 weeks, I had to let my legs recover. So I only did one more short run, where once again my knees didn't feel great.
And my knee, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm gonna run the marathon either way, but it sucks, man, it sucks.
And suddenly I woke up, my alarm went off, and it was the 16th of April, but it's better known as Marathon Day.
So everything is according to plan. Good night's sleep, mini bulk completed. I have one more issue. I haven't taken a shit in 1.5 days. That means that this morning I have to take shit, otherwise... And we were off. I shared my location with all my friends and family who were kind enough to come to the race. I must say it's a pretty special feeling, all these people just coming to support you. Anyway, back to the race. As you know, my goal was to set a 4-hour finish, which meant maintaining a pace of 5 minutes and 40 seconds per kilometer. My game plan was to aim for a 6 minute per kilometer pace throughout the biggest part of the race, which for me was pretty fast. And I was scared that if I went faster, I was going to burn out and not even reach the finish. But of course that pace wouldn't be fast enough. But I trusted that like the last race, I would shit talk myself, get angry, put on the pace, leave it all out on the field and get a 4-hour finish. And then after enjoy a free dinner.
But the tricky thing is, life doesn't always go the way you want it to.
Knee is not feeling that great, guys. I'm now at 5 kilometers, but knee isn't feeling that good.
So I was trying not to focus too much on my knee and just enjoy the incredible support that was going on. And most important, I was trying to just keep running.
So apart from the aching knee and the gels who in training were okay, but suddenly made me puke,
Those gels are disgusting, man.
I managed to maintain a pretty decent pace. It wasn't that far off of my 4-hour finish plan. And while it wasn't far off, it also wasn't fast enough either. And I really needed to speed up.
Really need to speed up, but it's kind of tough out here, man. But I need to speed up. Come on. Halfway. Doing better. I ate a banana. Gave me a lot of energy.
And for about 5 kilometers, I did speed up. The only thing was that after those, the exact opposite happened. My energy plummeted and my knee and leg started to hurt so bad that I needed to walk for the first time.
Dude. Oh, I don't. Come on.
And I knew this was a bad sign, so I tried to fire myself up, scream to myself, shit-talk myself, like I successfully did in the 15 kilometers run. But my body just refused. And on top of that, I started experiencing these intense cramps inside my legs, which in training had never happened before.
Ice cramps. It sucks.
Water was disgusting, my stomach was doing weird things, and the gels which I needed to rely on, just the whiff of them had me puking. And meanwhile, I felt such an intense pain in my right knee. I just got totally wrecked, and I still had a brutal 8 kilometers to go. And honestly, I just never had experienced anything close to that in my life before. My entire body shutting down on me. The only thing that kept me going was the thought of my family coming all this way to support me and standing at the sidelines. So I just tried to focus on getting from the place where one family member stood to another. And for the love of God, not think about the miles, I still had to go. And while the street very slowly passed under my feet, I was starting to reach the last kilometers of the race. And even though I wasn't sure I was mentally present at this time, I mean, I felt like I was running full zombie mode. Slowly, something remarkable began to unfold. And I started to see why the marathon is such a unique and special event.
See it. Almost. I'm so happy this is over. But okay.
And I was just so overwhelmed by the roller coaster of emotions. It just hits you all at once the moment you step over that line. The early mornings, the injuries, the visits to the physician, all the hours of running alone, just everything. And although I did not make the 4-hour finish that I wanted, looking back to where I started at the beginning of this story, I was goddamn proud of the miles I'd walked. And it once again taught me that life's wisdom not only lies in reaching the destination or goal, but also in the remarkable distance we travel from where we began. And that's finally the end.